Hi, buddy. Welcome back to Ox Talks. It is October 14th, 2023. If you guys like the content, please consider subscribing to the channel, like the videos, maybe share the videos. I'm doing my best to roll out each day with some new content, some new ideas, sharing with you guys some of the stories from my past and my practice of law. So again, appreciate you guys very, very much. What did I do this morning? I woke up this morning and I went down to Lowe's, which is like our Home Depot here, and I replaced my propane tanks. I rotate about 5 tanks. I keep one in the barbecue. When that one gets low or runs out, I go down and replace it. But I was down a couple of propane tanks, so I went down and I replaced those. Why is propane important? Well, in my opinion, it's really important to ensure that you would be able to boil water and cook food in the event of a grid down situation. If your electricity goes out and you have an electric stove, how are you going to cook your food? If the power goes, like I said, if you have electricity, electric stove, you need to be able to boil your water, you need to be able to cook food on the stove. That will not be possible. Likewise, if you have a gas stove and gas oven and the gas gets turned off or there's an emergency, you will not be able to prepare your food. So I believe propane is very invaluable. If you have a propane grill, I recommend it. You can boil your water on your grill in a pot. You can cook your meat and you can cook any type of food you want, your vegetables. Likewise, those little propane tanks run the Coleman grills and things of that sort. There are other cooking methods you want in place as part of your preps, like charcoal, possibly solar cooking methods, but propane is super important. During times of stress and emergencies, propane becomes very short, in very short supply. So go get it while you can. It doesn't hurt to have it. And that's my prepping thought for the day. That's what I did this morning. I'm always trying to think of things that I can do to shore up my situation. Okay, I read an article, this was a few days ago, and someone gave me some flack on a comment the other day about reading too much of the articles and not summarizing them. I'll do my best to do that. Sometimes if I'm trying to convey material, it's better just to get it out there. It's hard to always have this committed to memory. But anyway, this article is from Fortune, and it was October 11th, and it's entitled, "Most Millennials and Gen Zers Feel That They Have It a Lot Harder Today Than Their Parents Did." And I thought the article was very interesting, and it says here, nearly 3/4, 74% of millennials and 65% of Gen Zers believe they're starting further behind financially than other generations when they were their age, according to a poll of 2,000 adults conducted for USA Today by the Harris Poll. It says most everyone agrees. 2/3 of those surveyed thought young adults are facing hardships that other generations didn't have to tackle. If the American dream, it says, was ever a reality, for some, it's certainly not one that millennials and Gen Z feel they have experienced. I'm not sure I totally agree with that. Obviously, I'm not a millennial or a Gen Zer, but at the end of the day, these people are saying that they lack the same advantage that their parents or older generations had. Granted, every generation has hardships. Everything ebbs and flows. We have high inflation right now. Home prices are high. Gas prices are high. But in terms of, making something of yourself and getting ahead, and having opportunity, I don't think that article is accurate. I don't mean to offend any groups of people. Everyone stands out, if they want to. But the point is that I don't think that these groups of people, the millennials and the Gen Zers, really have any concept of what hardship is and what the older generations had to go through. Now, I do agree that the millennials and the Gen Zers probably don't possess the same skills that the older generations have. I mean, when I was in junior high school, we had wood shop class. We had machine shop class. They offered home economics or homemaking classes. That's no longer, it would be deemed sexist or whatever. Now you have a whole bunch of classes on how to deal with your feelings and your emotions. The point is that the Gen Zers and the millennials don't know how to take care of themselves like the older generations do. And that's a real problem. We talk about, work ethic. I don't think that the millennials and Gen Zers probably have the same work ethic as the older generations. And this goes back to the fact that they have it in some respects, easier. They don't have to work as hard. Or they haven't had to work as hard. They get a lot of handouts. But they also seem, in my personal opinion, from my observations dealing with people every day, they seem less engaging. They seem lazier. They seem to kind of move at half speed. I can't put my finger on it, but that's what I observe. I saw another article that feeds into this concept, which I thought was very interesting. And this was also unfortunate. This is from October 11th, and it says most companies have turned to skill-based hiring, but there's a big problem. Workers are missing 3 key skills that the employers are looking for. This article was amazing to me. Let me share it with you briefly. It says, over the past few years, companies of all kinds in both the private and public sectors have gradually been shedding their degree requirements for new hires. Degree meaning you don't need a college degree. Nearly half, 45% of respondents told ZipRecruiter in a new 2,000-person survey that they've nixed degree requirements for certain roles this year. And 72% said that they now practice skills-based hiring by definitely prioritizing skills over certificates, a sign that skills-first attitudes are catching fire. It says, and that's with good reason. According to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, 95% of executives and HR heads said non-traditional candidates perform just as well, if not better, than degree holders. Competency, ability to learn, and versatility is more practical, they say, than pedigree, leaders have found. And then the last part of the article is obviously the most important part. It says, the 3 skills that bosses want most. The share of job listings on ZipRecruiter called for an undergraduate degree dropped 10% between this year and last year. That is very, very interesting. And what it says, the top 3 skills employers say candidates most lack, as revealed during interviews, are number 1, time management, number 2, professionalism, and number 3, critical thinking. That's amazing to me that those are the qualities that employers are having a tough time finding. Meaning, if you can simply be on time, if you can show up and dress appropriately and professionally and look professional, present well, you've eliminated most of your competition in today's society. Be willing to work hard. Again, those traits, if you have them, you're going to already be heads above the other people competing in your pool of applicants. It seems to me that those qualities should be automatic. They should go without saying. If you're not punctual, you're out. If you don't look professional, you're out. Obviously, critical thinking skills you learn as you go, but you want to have the desire, the drive, and make the effort. Let me shift gears to the student loan issue. And I know we've been hearing a lot lately about student loan payments being, now that loan payments have resumed as of October. Look, I just heard from the last article. There are a lot of employers are not requiring college degrees. I'm not saying don't go to college. I went to college and I went to law school, And my college was 4 years, my law school was 3 years, and it took me a year to study and pass the bar exam. I did pass it on the first try, by the way. But the point is that it was about an 8-year journey for me. The point is that if you are desire and want to be in a profession or a career that requires college education, then by all means, you have to go through those steps. But if you're not, and you have some alternatives available to you, consider it. You heard the data from ZipRecruiter. They are requiring less college degrees and more interpersonal skills. But if you've determined that college or even postgraduate education is important for you in your career, by all means pursue it. But let me talk about the student loans, because if you need to borrow money, you need to be judicious, in my opinion, judicious with these loans. Do not abuse the loans. Borrow only what you need. And it takes me back to a memory I have when I was in law school. And we had a place down by the beach in Southern California with me and some other roommates. And these guys used to have a poker game every Saturday night. And they would play, hands worth thousands of dollars. And they were playing these hands of poker with funds they had borrowed on the student loans program. And I never joined those poker games. I'm not that great at poker, but the point is that I never understood the wisdom in using basically borrowed money or debt to sit there and play poker. So the point is that if you're gonna borrow the money, borrow really only what you need. Keep that in mind. And let me talk about just the statistics real quickly, and I'll share with you, my insight and thoughts. This article is from LendingTree, and I don't know the exact date. It was about a month and a half ago. I just pulled it up to share stats with you guys. It says key student loan debt statistics. Number one, Americans they owe $1.77 trillion in federal and private student loan debt as of the second quarter of 2023. That's up 1.25% from the second quarter of 2022. 128.77 billion of that total through March 31st of this year is private student loan debt. Students and parents borrowed an estimated $94.7 billion in 2021 and 2022 academic year. 46% was federal unsubsidized loans, and 16% was federal loans. 13% was Grad Plus loans, and the rest, it goes down the line. It says 54% of the class of 2021 bachelor's degree recipients who graduated from 4-year public and private nonprofit colleges had student loan debt, average of $29,100 per year for the public schools, and privates was $33,000 in debt. 45.3 million borrowers have federal student debt as of the second quarter of fiscal year 2022. So those are huge, staggering numbers. If you come out of school, and we talk about debt and keeping yourself out of debt, being able to give yourself opportunity. You're going to have so many more opportunities when you do come out of school if you are not straddled with a bunch of student loan debt. Because don't forget, when you first come out of school, you're not going to immediately probably have a substantial income coming in. Those payments start coming due. Will the lenders allow you to defer the payments and go into forbearance programs? Absolutely, they love that, because while you're in forbearance or deferment, those things are racking up interest, and the bar tab keeps going up. So keep that in mind as well. I think that there's a lot of, as I gave the story before about some of my buddies in law school, there's a lot of abuse of the student loans. The point being, only borrow what you need. I mean, if you don't have to borrow money for tuition and books and living expenses, don't do it. I mean, there's absolutely, in my opinion, absolutely no reason why people shouldn't be also working while they're in school. When I was in college, I was working as well as going to school. When I was in law school, all 3 years of law school, I would drive to downtown every day, an hour to go to classes. In the afternoon, I would drive to another part of town to work at a law firm, to help subsidize, my living expenses. Was it a struggle? Heck yes, it was. Did it take more of my time? Yeah. Was I not down at the beach playing beach volleyball with a lot of my friends every afternoon? Absolutely. I wasn't there. But the point is that, I believe it was important to try to minimize the expenditures going out that were not being cash flowed, that were being piled into debt. Because I knew at some point when I finished school, I would have to pay the piper. And I did. I came out of law school, I had student loans, it took me years to pay those loans off. But I didn't get any handouts. It frustrates me a lot when I hear that the government is basically forgiving student loans. I understand there's certain situations for certain people, but blanket forgiveness of debt, I really don't believe in that. I think it sends the wrong message. I don't suppose, I'm waiting, but I don't suppose my refund check is going to be coming in the mail anytime soon. Let me know what you guys think about that. Keep in mind that these loans follow you. They are akin to a tax obligation. You can't, for the most part, there are a few exceptions, but you cannot bankrupt these student loan obligations. If your parents have co-signed on these obligations, they're also on the hook for the student loans, jointly and severally with you. And so this debt, in a lot of respects now, these student loan debts are impacting an entire family of people, and they can become a real hardship if a family falls on times, if a key earner loses a job, or becomes ill, or has some unforeseen circumstance arise. Again, like a car loan, like a mortgage payment, these loans show up on your credit report. They act as a drag on your credit report. If you miss payments on those loans, they will hit your credit and will reduce your credit. Again, coming out of school, if you take the college route or the post-grad route, keep this stuff all in mind. You want to give yourself the greatest opportunity out of the gate. Don't forget, your colleagues or your counterparts that came out of high school and start working right away, they're already ahead of the game. By the time you get through 4 years of college, or 4 years of college and then 4 years of medical school, or 3 years of law school, they're going to be way ahead of you in the earning game. So, and you're going to have, a debt, and they probably are not. So keep that all in mind. You want to give yourself equal opportunity, being on a level playing field, and so it all comes back to trying to minimize your debt. What else do I have here I wanted to talk to you about? Yeah, look, student loan debt's like mortgage debt, like credit card debt, like anything else. If you have it, just be judicious with it when you first apply and you receive those loans. And then when you come out of school, do your best, like your credit cards, to formulate a plan to pay that debt down. Don't ignore it. Don't kick the can down the road. Don't forbear it forever and get hit with, increased interest costs. So that's my spiel on student loans for today. I'll leave it there. My only thought in parting is the fitness, and hope you guys got your half an hour in today of exercise. I hope you got some cardio in. I hope you got some push-ups in, whether you're doing them from your knees to start building up from 1 push-ups to 10 to 20 to 30, do it. Start doing some crunches. And again, hydrate, keep the water intake going. I've received some real positive comments from people about the comments on fitness. I'm going to keep harping on that because we have to be a fit group of people. Otherwise, we have nothing. Health and fitness is everything. It's great to go out and make a bunch of money and buy properties, and that's all going to be something we're going to be doing as well as opportunity unfolds here during this next crisis. But you have to be healthy and you have to be fit. So with that being said, appreciate once again you guys all tuning in to the channel. I hope you're enjoying the content. I'm trying to figure out my way and grab my own style and get a bit smoother. And again, thanks for patience. And I will see you, if not tomorrow, I'll see you on Monday. Thanks a lot. Bye.